Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa trase. Ohia si eda na dibiem. Ghana amanyosem no. Ni mfie nkwa anim sanso obo no homodin yie pa. Ene se okase mfa yie enka
Asempa FM.
Emmabu na omanya akwanya wa amanyosem mu. Omo over time obatimi demonstrate say wona sua tiase their friend amanyosem na omama Ghana abedi omanim kan. Ama wono nkofo so a wono som no so akoma so ade abeda omo so a untimi nyi
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
Ablakwa infim Ghana dana koma so the constituency dana koma so the party dana koma so into where the ladder na Ghana constituency party himself and then family and friends was as I know consider all to akwaba you are still in black na ukosi olman tiana oh kuse one ma Ekosiisen team no one ma invitation.
Yeah,
very bad.
Yeah, but more friend.
But we should have been there. To just also support. What do you miss about that?
Follow me, Edika, my mentor, Namindamasi said, invite me and there.
Yeah.
You'll be a follow Ghana, Emmanuel Sampa, very keenly. And after every program, now a friend, now a tool for this, how. He will have preferred, sir, who approach this matter. Now about Abaso, sir, this particular issue, who handle the year and all of that. Especially or retired by Ghana, over the last 3 years, he was even now more available to follow keenly and to render advice. Now Oyobia, now he was like our brother because on pair that kind of. Gap.
Yeah.
They were just like friends, and he will be sorely missed. He will be sorely missed. Wicked sense of humor, full of life, always trying to look younger than his children. Very, very interesting man.
Fortunately, for the courage to talk about him, even though he's no more. For the currency.
Amen. Amen.
You admit that you are becoming controversial in Ghana's politics now?
Not at all. Mejuma Nameya. Also, as a member of parliament, fundamentally, we share the constitution of Ghana. And indeed, how democracies work all over the world. As I said, we keep the executive branch on their toes. The whole concept of the three arms of government, separation of powers, we share Nipa or propounded theory, Baron de Montesquieu. ASM. There will be adequate checks so that no one arm will feel at liberty say obetumia ye bibia ope because for democracy to work he argued say there need to be countervailing forces, and later on theories like Thomas Hobbes develop that whole concept, Jean-Jacques Rousseau and they have all expanded further say there ought to be countervailing forces. Emma, no one arm and any head of any arm of the three arms will feel say omoye invincible and that they can do whatever they want. Intiana Osha even currently there's a discussion. So study Ghana constitution pana we gave too much powers to the executive, and it will appear say the executive president is too overbearing. Na Wababa virtually the master of all his surveys, and other institutions have become so subservient. Now Parliament Krano Dudona Koho say they'll find favor with him, they'll catch his eye and be appointed. Into that whole even hybrid system now, practice since 1992. Some political scientists are beginning to argue, let's take a second look at it. And I share that view, especially having operated it for the last 28 years. And I have had the opportunity to be in both arms. I think, sir, Ebebwa, to me, as separated, and I young review that constitutional provision which mandates the president to appoint majority of his ministers from Parliament, so that you free the president's hand. And to be fair to the Constitution Review Commission, President Mills, God bless his soul, or initiate here, they look critically at that. and one of the recommendations, which the white paper also admitted to, say, yen free the president's hand to appoint from wherever. And really, I mean, if you look at the human resource at your Ghana, why should it be, say, Unye Kukudro to go and stand for election, and Unye interested in elective, politics, then it's very limited. There's a limited chance we'll be back into mainstream and I will appoint to a minister. Once you get into parliament, if your party is in power, then you know that it is more likely. It even limits the president from the pool of resources available at any point in time to make sure that he would appoint the right people who can deliver on the transformative agenda. It's about being controversial. It's about wanting to be true to the oath of office, to the constitution of Ghana, to your conscience. Later on, if more media and CSOs and any analysts discover, they will question us and your parliament, especially on these matters of travel. So say, ranking member no Foreign Affairs Committee for where were they? Until when they couldn't raise it. And I have here, countless of documents, including letters, members of parliament in other jurisdictions, actually, on similar matters about wanting accountability on presidential travels. If I have your permission, I have this one here by Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren. She's still in Congress, May 21st, 2019. Ochro Krataway, or your chairperson of the Committee on House Administration. And the letter was addressed to Part A, Claypole, Office of White House Counsel, the White House. Dear Mr. Claypole, I write to request that the White House provide information about how and by what measure it reimburses the public for political travel, including aboard Air Force One. Recent news reports indicate that President Trump flew to more than 40 political rallies in advance of the 2018 midterm elections. His campaign-related travel in advance of the 2020 election is well underway. The president frequently mixes official travel with campaign-related political purposes, which raises questions about whether American taxpayers are footing the bill for political travel that should be paid for by his campaign. Last week, President Trump traveled to New York City for a fundraising dinner at a Wall Street executive's home. As he flew to the event, the president filmed a video criticizing a newly announced opponent in the presidential race. He then distributed a video on Twitter where it showed the president at his desk aboard the aircraft with the presidential seal positioned conspicuously behind him. Non-partisan ethics watchdogs roundly criticized the president's actions. As you know, federal law provides that appropriated funds should only be used for the purposes for which they are appropriated. Moreover, campaign finance regulation provide rules governing how a campaign, including a presidential campaign, should pay for travel aboard a government aircraft. There is opacity in the way the White House designates an event as political versus official. It is generally understood that the White House uses a formula. Some say it was first adopted during the Reagan administration to apportion how travel costs are covered for political events. The Trump campaign has disclosed disbursement for travel costs to the Department of Treasury, as well as debts that it owes in recent Federal Election Commission disclosure reports. However, because the formula that the White House uses to determine reimbursement rates is shrouded from public scrutiny, the public has very little insight into whether and by what magnitude the American taxpayer is subsidizing the president's campaign activities, including how the White House determines which events merit reimbursement. I respectfully request that you provide the committee with the following information no later than June 20, 2019. 1. Any documents, communications, and records that provide guidance concerning how expenses are apportioned for official and non-official, including political travel, including mixed-purpose trips. Please include the formula and or policy documents that the White House uses to classify presidential travel as political. 2. A list of all events that the White House determined required payment from the president's campaign committee to cover travel expenses, a breakdown of associated costs, and any associated records concerning payment. 3. a list of all events that the White House determined required payment from another political committee, including a national party committee, to cover travel expenses, a breakdown of associated costs, and any associated records concerning payment. And 4, any guidance from the Department of Justice or the Federal Election Commission concerning presidential travel, including travel by the Vice President. Thank you for your cooperation with this matter. Sincerely, signed, Zoe Lovegren, Chairperson of the very powerful House Administration Committee in Congress.
Well, but clearly,
now, by way of background, the background is important. In the United States of America, Omo a presidential travel policy.
Exactly.
Which Ghana lacks, and that's one of the things I'm advocating for. Oshe de Akoso say, we were talking about the earlier charter in May. Since I revealed that Abai M to me Emma Enuano, the responses have been weak, have been very, unacceptable.
Your advocacy is a national policy that you think will inure to the benefit of the country Ghana.
Exactly.
So what has been the status quo? What has been the norm of this country? Your presidential jet. A bribe and a mampenya who do omabano omako beyond the presidential jet. Ako febia na so mako join the masses under what circumstances?
Okay.
And they, what are we experiencing? Is it in the best interest of the country? At the end, as you say, who can pass any president woman who did this? As I say, we have to start thinking about this.
Brilliant question. Into 1 minute. I mean, American background. No, just quickly. Into my background say, Uko America or more the presidential travel policy. The last time it was updated was in 1981 under President Ronald Reagan, about 40 years ago. Now, that policy, President Kwanse or no now determine how he wants to travel, which aircraft he uses. You're obliged to use the presidential jet, Air Force One. There are 2 aircrafts actually, but it's called Air Force One. They fly together at any point in time. You don't know exactly which one the president is in. In addition to that, in the policy, a copy of which I have here, Omuwa Bibia, your friend, mixed travel. Into we mixed travel, to say we call official assignment. Now so no, baby no. There is a political party event. Maybe we a democratic candidate and a democratic president. You are seeking re-election. Into work or a fundraiser, and now say work or address a campaign, and now campaign team be. And no is considered private and you're official. Until you are required to reimburse. And interestingly, we share formula now. As we call hono, eduane a ubedi wo accommodation, transportation, all of that you calculate at the mouth, and you reimburse the taxpayer. You pay to the national treasury. The American taxpayer gets their money back. That is how strict they are. Yes, it's called private. Yes, and same applies to the vice president. Even the first lady and second lady say omu took coin say for that particular itinerary ebia omo call mo graduation be and family party be, they are required to reimburse. And for that leg of the journey eduane na ye serve omukra on the aircraft omutuaka ni nyina ye calculate and they build them ukodua hotel and all of that. You are built and it's a detailed policy to protect the public purse. That should guide us. And later where the congresswoman wanted to know
the policy.
Say, are they guided by the policy? Are they living by the policy? And they want full disclosures. The mayor of Ghana, it's not new. It's happening
in fact,
in other jurisdictions.
The content is what we are suffering. Trying to draw a line between incumbency and then political party activities.
Private activities and all of that. And preventing abuse. Following laid down, guidelines. I think that has been established. Now, to your very brilliant question, Usha Ghana, your history, where your 4th presidential jet. The first presidential jet was acquired in 1962 for President Nkrumah, which is the DH-125 jet. And it was designed by Hatfield company, be a friend of Hatfield. And interestingly, that was the time we had the first female pilot, a German, Hannah Rech. She was the presidential pilot. At that time, all official travels, President Nkrumah used the DH-125 jet between 1962 and 1966. Those who are conversant with our history know that on the 24th of February 1966, there was a coup and Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown. The second presidential jet Yenyaye was in 1976. General Ignatius Kutua Champon, unknown the order that presidential jet, a friend of Fokker 28. The Fokker 28 became very famous. It was christened the Flying Coffin. That was the jet that was christened the Flying Coffin. And we used it for over 35 years. Ansana, President Rawlings, Obeto, the Gulfstream G3, and GIII. Now, Ubekaya, there was some controversy about the Gulfstream.
Exactly. And
leading to the 2000 campaign, President John Ajekum Kufuor made a bold statement, say, Onoba, because the purchase to him was not transparent. I think that was the first time Yemu Bikra Yeti, what was called special purpose vehicle, from Finance Minister Uncle Kwame Pepra and others at the time. There was some controversy around the purchase. Until President Kufuor Ekase or no Obedi President on use it because he doesn't like that whole purchasing arrangement. And it was leased in 1998 from USA. It was manufactured in the USA. And then President Kufuor it was packed at the hangar Nimusa. It was not used. And later, Oton, I think he exchanged it with some Chinese aircrafts. And then he ordered 2008, Ubekaya, he ordered the Dassault Falcon 900 EX. That was our fourth presidential jet. Mewa parliamentary hands at Noah, 19th March 2008, when they came to Parliament with the final financial agreement and the contractual agreement approved here. This Dassault Falcon 900 EX, it will interest you to know, and it will interest TF4 say it cost the Ghanaian taxpayer $37,150,000 United States dollars. It didn't come cheap. It didn't come cheap at all. Now we share the terms of the facility now. I'm reading from column 2119 of the Hansard of 19th March 2008. The Dassault Falcon 900 EX Easy. Terms of the Societe Generale Facility. Societe Generale Facility and President Kufuor secure. And the total sum is $37,150,000 United States dollars. Now, part of the agreement, the French, who are the manufacturers, trainee 3 of our pilots and 2 mechanics. Often we don't talk about this, but it was a full package that came with training of your soldiers, the communication squadron of the Ghana Air Force. 3 pilots, 2 mechanics, and then it also came with a hangar, hangar for this Falcon 900 EX. It was a whole full package. Now, the second aspect of your question was, how have things been done? Clearly, if you look at the history, and I've been researching extensively on these matters, also, when the presidential jet arrives the presidents of that era, AUZ, I've gone through the Hansards, and I have a compilation of the Hansards since even the National Assembly answer. We had the post Independence Parliament, and I do not see any controversy around. Maybe members of Parliament complaining said a president of that era is not using the presidential jet. The Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah AUZ, the DH-125 jet. Ignatius Kutua Champon, Fokker 28 he used it. What I have seen, however, is that there was some controversy about purchasing. So is it really prudent?
Yes, exactly.
Is it very transparent? Yeah. Is there cost, is there value for money and all of that? I know the history is replete from even the Nkrumah era all the way to when President Rawlings, including President Kufuor, authored this Dassault jet, Not your position at the time, and we raised concerns about whether it's prudent, whether it was needful. And interestingly, President Kufuor decided, say, on no Gulfstream GII, he will have nothing to do with it. He didn't use it. President Mills, so Eka say, President Kufuor or other no, it is superfluous, is overboard, is unnecessary. He should go for one. Into Ubekaya, he made a promise during the campaign, say, Obe cancel Bako.
Yeah.
And President Mills cancelled one. Into the earlier, the bigger passenger jet, or cancel, yeah. And or maintaining the one with the French, with the Dassault Falcon 900 EXE. Into consistently, Ubehu said all presidents have used these jets, with the exception of President Kufuor, who said there's no transparency with the Gulfstream GII into or no on use. That's the only time in our history. And I think because, of course, there was no national policy on presidential travels. But to be fair to President Kufuor, to his credit, President Kufuor did not engage in charter jets. Usher record now, he flew commercial, or using British Airways, either first class, if it's available, and not business class. So to be fair to President Kufuor, and I need to salute him, he showed some modesty, and it doesn't matter, say we belong to different political parties. Nipa eye idea which is commendable. You need to say it. So to President Kufuor's credit, he flew commercial. That's what the records will show. President Mills, to his credit, when the Dassault Falcon was ordered, it was ordered in 2008. But Ukai agreement, from this 19th March hazard, Omuka said it will arrive in Ghana October 2010. Kai said he was sworn in 7 January 2009. Within that period, there was no presidential jet. He was also flying commercial. The records we show say he didn't charter any aircraft. You need to also salute President Mills. God bless his soul. He flew commercial, BA, KLM, commercial with other passengers, and then the aircraft arrived 2010. Aircraft arrived in October 2010. No, and Ostati UZ here. President Mahama so AUZ here. Share history now from the communication squadron. If the records I have seen, there were 2 instances and 2 occasions. Now the Falcon had been sent to France for servicing, and those 2 instances, I think one of them, the funeral of President Mahama had been invited to the funeral of Nelson Mandela, and he those 2 instances, he was on a chartered aircraft, a bombardier. But I have those flight details. It was not anything that was extravagant. It didn't really make the news at that time. Those 2 instances are the only time that we've had this chartered history. But if you come back to recent times, you notice we in the minority had cause to raise issue with the amount of money spending at the Office of Government Machinery on presidential travels. Sometime in 2019, when they brought their budget for approval, Ubehun said, we highlighted an item, about 67 million Ghana cedis that had been spent on presidential travels. At the time, now you need details. It was that information in 2019, and alarming. And that's what made me keen. Say, what is going on? Let me probe further. Let me find out the mode of transport. Because if you are using the presidential jet, it shouldn't be, because I've spoken to aviation experts, cost of aviation fuel is not that high. And it should not be that much. And it is true that initial information, the 67 million on travel, and then we started probing, and me say, the president seemed to prefer chartered aircraft. Now, he doesn't really like to use the presidential jet. And I found that troubling, because Sika at the top presidential jet, $37.1 million. Now, and so when I decided to say maybe I won't pay away, and it doesn't meet your specifications. So we say Nipa order, of Free Party President Kufuor. And I don't think President Kufuor doesn't really know about aircraft or is not well exposed or he was ill-advised. I think that he took the best decision at the time. Now, OSHA, the Hansard of 19th March, Parliament was told, say, this Falcon 900 EX, the presidential jet, OSHA in the lifespan, I mean, quoted from column 2122. So the technical team from the Ministry of Defense further indicated that the aircraft has a lifespan of at least 20 years. 20 years. Aircraft will be drew 2010. We are in 2021. It's done about 11 years. Until we are nowhere near the lifespan of this aircraft. Until aircraft
nowhere near the lifespan.
The lifespan of the aircraft, because Mukachire Parliament, technical documents in Mudebaye, technical team, the Mukachire Parliament. And interestingly, if you check the international arena, France for Omo order Omo presidential jet the same time I yes order yedie. Theirs arrived 2010. O check here, and I have checked. President Emmanuel Macron, Egosua all use their presidential jet. It's not complained, it's not been jettisoned, it's not been abandoned. He's using it. G20 summit, G7 summit, recently about Rwanda. That aircraft, which arrived the same time as Ghana, aircraft, arrived in 2010. That's what is being used. And Yenin say, Ghana Armed Forces, about maintenance, we know them, they are legendary. Shefoka 28, more than 35 years. They maintain it. They are still. They are. A maintenance culture is legendary, and in any case, aircraft way is still relatively new. It's in pristine condition. I got very curious. In May, I decided to follow more closely the president's travels to France, Belgium, and South Africa. And Nona stumbled on the information and further checks confirmed. Say again, President abandoned presidential jet. What decided say, or the Airbus ACJ 320 Neo, yet the world's most expensive, the most luxurious. Till for better me Google Airbus ACJ 320 Neo. Okay,
so as it stands now, what is the state of your current presidential jet to the best of your knowledge? The last time the minister came to Parliament or the Nchirimu by Nchirimu or the by Towasum and Towasum and now this and so that we can jump to now this new one you want to talk about.
Sure. To the best of my knowledge, presidential jet is in good condition. Indeed, 16th June, Defense Minister Bar Parliament responded to my question on the state of the presidential jet or confirm me. He said, yes, it is airworthy, because that was my question. I wanted to know, is the presidential jet airworthy? And he confirmed, say it is airworthy. Except, say, he made other excuses, say, presidential jet, no, iswa. Now, president, sometimes in the entourage, he wants a bigger. And I told him in Parliament, say, I don't see the difference. Airbus way, we share the parliamentary Hansard. It says up to 17 passengers. ACJ 320 Neo President Kochata in May. It takes 17 during the day, and then during at night it takes during the day it takes 17. At night it can be reconfigured to take 19. And I was asking, so what's the difference? Is it 17 and 19? Over the current one, this LXDIO from Luxembourg, the Luxembourg Global Jet Company, Omuko High, the current one, the recent trip to UK and Germany, and also a 19-seater. Into President
large entourage.
Large entourage, And to assume, I don't buy it. Because what's the difference between 70 and 90? What was the difference? And then the other reason so Maya said, presidential jet we crown it's not that comfortable that president on to me and shower room, he can't freshen up. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Did the minister say it's airworthy?
Yes, he said it's airworthy. The minister said it's airworthy. He confirmed. And indeed, the monitoring what documentation in our and in the aviation industry, aircraft will move to move when they fly. If you are interested in it, and you are aviation buff, the apps were websites were and you can monitor. Once you have the registration number of the aircraft, you can track it. recently, me who say even with this aircraft, and there was an attempt to switch off the flight radar and all of that. But we have ways of tracking these things. Into your presidential jet, it will interest you to know, sir, as recent as 19 July, for monitoring Amaye, it flew to France, Paris, Le Bourget.
Ghana Yediano.
Presidential jet on the 19th of July. I challenge anybody to come and deny. I have all the documentation here.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I have it here.
But President who took
19 July. And what I'm glad you are raising this.
Yeah. But they gave an excuse.
They gave an excuse. Yes,
that's an official document that you own.
Yes, it's from. Let me give you the source, and you can, if you enter 9GEXE, which is the registration number of our aircraft of the presidential jet. You enter if you have the app flightaware.com live. You can track it and you will see it. And these are all documentation. I'm not downloading. It flew direct to France. Ubekaya, when I first revealed the earlier one, MPP communicators Nibika said, COVID about, you want the president to be doing trotro, the aircraft presidential jet, and to me and fly direct.
That's exactly my point. That the president, the jet couldn't fly
direct to France. And this 19 July 2022, it exposes that falsity, because at the time, Nibika said, aircraft way. What I can read what Parliament was told when they were giving us the technical specifications of the aircraft. Omuka said the aircraft flies directly. It says the Falcon 900 EXE support aircraft covers 4,000 nautical miles. That is Asia, North America, and Eastern Europe. That's what we were told in Parliament. Say 8 to 9 hours there. Presidential jet to me too quite direct.
Minister about Parliament, no say our technical challenges.
There be one raise that issue of technical challenges. And
engaging parliamentarians over
there be one kasada said there are technical challenges. Into your aircraft, it flew successfully, peacefully, and on the 21st, from my monitoring, 21st, the aircraft returned to Accra at 9:51 a.m.
Probably it was for maintenance.
It's possible, but it flew direct.
But it was for maintenance.
It's possible.
Clearly, then it would not be safety for the president to be in.
Why?
You could maintain a challenge.
No. Say at that time, not president was Ghana. President into Kwai. Osha recent trips are president, or two.
So the four air court service on them. And yes, I say crowd, but anything can happen.
Yes, but the point I'm making is 19 July, there was no international travel for the president. Not president was Ghana. President to Kwai 27 July to the UK. At that time, no, now Yakwako service aircraft, ABBA. They had done servicing and returned. There was even the aircraft had renewed health, and there was no excuse not to use the aircraft. And we track it. This presidential jet is being used all over. Akko France direct, ABBA, Akko Kumasi, Akko Uganda recently. It's all here. There's nothing wrong with your presidential jet. The question you asked me, say, Adena, our president, refuses to use this presidential jet. And you say, like President Kufu and President Mills and President Mahama, sometimes he is traveling commercial. Debbie, he goes for a chartered aircraft. Now, Minia, who share the cost to the Ghanaian taxpayer? Because this VIP chartered aircraft, it's not a joke, and your chicken feed. Current one, Oko Lizzie, minimum basic price, what they told me, and it's
which is not official,
and Ukom was
admitted.
Yes,
which is not official.
It's not official from government.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much government paid. Government could have paid more, but the asking rate, which is advertised also on their website. This particular aircraft, the LXDIO, with the MSN number 62515, line number 5659, hex code 4D0213. It's a 2-engine aircraft, CFMI. Basic minimum, $14,000 per hour. $14,000. Now, OSHA, the overall return, UK and Germany, and at the pickup time, drop-off time, 41 hours. We calculated distance, and it's very easy to do. UK 6.5 hours, Germany 7 hours. 41 hours. If you multiply that by $14,000, we are talking about $570,000. Meaning, that's some 3.46 million Ghana cedis, excess of 3 million Ghana cedis. Maybe na me tie wo interview me re ho ya pa school feeding ye mama no more than 7 months ye ntia omoka. And I mean, even rata 1 Ghana cedis duane be na betumi ania. On legitimate appeal say it should be increased to 3 Ghana cedis. We all have to support it. But this is the state of our country. Workers, if you even put the pathetic story of the school feeding women aside, Ghanaian workers, organized labor, Aban say sikani ho cause of COVID and all of that. Finance minister is talking about something called burden sharing. Let's share the burden. Almost a minimum wage, this year it cost through just by 4%, and no chrono yet in 3 installments. Sikani ho, Yutafuako strike. Federation of University Students at University Senior Lecturers, ACO strike. GMA for 7 notice, NAT for 7 notice, NAGRAT for 7 notice. There's all of this labor agitation. Should fix the country youth for thousands of youth who are despondent, who are disillusioned about the state of our country. All of these matters, President, in this situation, uwa presidential jet, bibia enye jet no. Would defense minister say want to mean shower, and you think this is something you can tell Ghanaians? But
that is not the actual reason here.
But I think the defense minister owes the Ghanaian.
But do you fault the president for that? What is happening in terms of Ochata? Do you fault him? Yeah, as a man, I shame to go down. All taking that.
But as a leader, all this background. Look at the current context. The way near here. But that's to mean to our school feeding caterers, organized labor, agitated. Who say 4% and they are saying it's not adequate, it's not enough. And yet you can find over 3.4 million Ghana cedis to engage in such profligacy. Needless. Meanwhile,
hold on. You call it needless.
Needless profligacy.
That's the number 1 gentleman of the land.
Yes. That is why he should travel by the presidential jet. Kind literature all over the world. Presidential jets are your safest options. Because presidential jet, you read from the Hansard, pilots have been trained specially for this aircraft. They have gone through national security screening. They owe allegiance to you and to the state. They are loyal to you. The crew are Ghanaians. You know them. They have been screened. Uko charter aircraft, who name pilot, You don't know which country they come from. You don't know where their allegiances lie, where their loyalties are. Crew, you don't even know them. You don't even know if they are eavesdropping equipment, if they are surveillance equipment on that aircraft. Because Obia you see aircraft with all these rich sheikhs, billionaires, and all of that. You are compromised. In the kind literature, all these countries who have these policies, they insist. Sir, President, you don't have a choice. You must use the presidential jets. And that's what they do, and they insist. It is not even safe. You see, some of us should not be seen as controversial or troublemakers. We should be commended for even helping the president's security.
And your thinking is that not all these things was not factored into. That's what you think.
Clearly, it appears to me it's a luxury, extreme luxury, has been put above more germane factors. Just luxury. Say you pay cinema room, you pay Jaria luxury shower, you pay 5-star dining facilities, you pay a relaxation cabin. India, Sininti, these things to me are frivolous. In any case, Europe, and yes, we'll call Australia, and we'll call China, just 6.5 hours. How many movies can you watch? Master bedroom, really? I mean, will you even use it? How many hours will you sleep? How many hours of sleep do you have time for on a 6.5 hour journey to Europe? You don't get it. You just can't understand the head and tail of this. It's just for satisfying creature comforts, just laugh for luxury. But you see, not at the expense of the Ghanaian taxpayer. I wouldn't mind, say, President, why Juma at the end of the year, be another 2 years, one announces say you are going on break, going on holiday. Now, no, you can decide to charter whatever, go back to the ACJ 320 Neo, the world's most expensive luxury jet. Now, no, wow, sika, and our down for 4 bina abuao, and you want to enjoy a luxury jet at private expense. I don't mind, but because some other countries will not allow, they even insist a secret service will have to go with you and all of that, but this one, you are on official assignment, and share the course of France, you were going to beg for debt forgiveness. Germany, so patch yourself your vaccines. Yes, you have 1.5 million vaccines. Yes, but
and you're not looking at that.
But I am looking at that.
So you're not applauding the president.
I will applaud the president if the president shows modesty, the president shows sincerity, conscionable leadership. There is no evidence to suggest president or the presidential jet echo Germany and man 1.5 million vaccines. No, there is no evidence. Germany for NK say vaccine no because he arrived as an Arabian king. Nani aircraft na airfare cinema room, master bedroom room, 5-star dining facilities. Indiana Yemano Abia Krana if he had gone modestly and he had used the presidential jet, who knows? We may even have got more vaccines. There will have been more benevolence in our direction from the Germans. Let us emphasize, this cannot be allowed to continue. Indiana make us say enough is enough. The time has come, clearly no president or abusing the discretion.
Abuse.
Yes, he's abusing the discretion. We've never seen this. I've gone through the history since 1962 when we had our first presidential jet in Nkrumah UZ, Kutua Champon or UZ Fokker 28. President Rawlings used the Gulfstream 3. President Mills used the Falcon. President Mahama used the Falcon. Omunyina and complaining. Obia Ambekase Falcon no, it's not good enough, it's not luxurious enough, we can't shower and all. They never said that. They all used it. But only this president is clearly abusing privileges, abusing the trust given to him. And it is time, because when he did the first one, and there was all this uproar, and it was clear the ministers were even dodging, uncomfortable in answering the question. The dust hasn't settled. Trained national security minister, because in the relay race, or known as they say,
presidential travels.
You go and handle it. But then he was saved by the bell you call break. We are on recess as a house until the house is returning in October. That matter is still pending. And then you go and do this. You go and do this not once but twice. UK and Germany.
We are not done yet.